Hello, this is your host today of Mindspace, Mwenda Duranera, and we're here today with my good friend McKenna. He's a senior counsel, Wakili. And why Mindspace? Mindspace, we created this podcast so that we can be explaining to people about home ownership, legalities of home ownership, what information do you need to own a property, what information do you need to invest in real estate. And as me, Mwenda Duranera, the CEO of MySpace Properties, we deal in real estate, and I want to educate others on the best way, on the easiest way, on the most secure way to invest your hard-earned money. So karibuni sana, and without no much further ado, today we are discussing the process of home ownership, legalities. We are discussing about why do you need a lawyer in a real estate transaction. And for this part, I'll let my guest introduce herself and tell her more about herself as we go to the next level. And remember, in the comment sections, please put all your questions.
All right. Thank you, Mwenda. My name is McKenna Kingori. I'm a practicing advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I specialize in property law, commercial law, and family law. Later on, I'll tell you why those three areas of law. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to a fruitful engagement with you and the team.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Karibu sana. Of course, as I told you, it's very important. I'm sure there's a question which has been burning you when you need a lawyer in any transaction. And I'm a great advocate of why you need professionals when you're doing transactions. Of course, before you enter into any kind of business deal, it's good to have the legal framework in place. And that's what we are here today to cover, to understand that the legal framework, why is it necessary? And one of the questions, of course, I'll ask myself when we come back from the break is one of my lawyers used to tell me a one-pager contract is the worst contract ever. That's what will land you in trouble. So today we'll cover all that, and I'm sure our listeners have many questions. And today we are ready to take it on. Are you ready, McKenna?
Very ready.
All right, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the
Hi guys, welcome to Sunpark Residence. Karibuni.
through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.
Hi guys, welcome to our show house. So we want to take you through our show house, our 3-bedroom show house at Sunpark Residence. Sunpark Residence is located along Mombasa Road, just a few kilometers from the airport and SGR. Quite convenient place to invest in, and whether you want to reside in, it's a win-win. Sunpark Residence is the place to be. Now, this is a 3-bedroom show house. This being the living room, and this is where we put our dining. But just to show you, to give you an idea where you can put it.
Yeah.
And then it comes with its balcony, quite spacious. So here's the balcony.
Look at
Yeah.
that, amazing.
Awesome.
Come closer, let's show them our play area. So you're going to be sitting here comfortably. Let's sit down. We need a glass of water. Imagine having a
You sit here
here.
comfortably as
Yes.
you watch your kids play.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is it about Sunpark. It's just a nice place to be and to invest in.
Yes. We have 1, 2, and 3-bedroom houses.
Awesome.
And 1 bedroom is going for 6.5.
Yes.
2 bedroom is going for 8 million.
Yes.
And 3 bedroom is going for 10 million.
And you need as low as 10% deposit to own this place. And something else we didn't mention, we
Allow mortgage.
we allow mortgage, yeah, at very, very low rates, as low as 9%
Imagine.
on a reducing balance. And the rates are not fluctuating, that is standard. Where else can you get such a deal? Let's show them our kitchen.
Have you seen the finishes of the houses? Amazing.
The spacing,
Yeah, amazing.
you know,
like,
the quality is just something else.
once you get
Yeah.
inside the houses, they are so cool.
Exactly. So you definitely get value for your money. That's somebody else. Yes.
The ceilings.
The high ceilings, you know?
Guys.
So let's show them our kitchen.
Yes.
So here's our kitchen. Quite spacious, as you can see.
Very special.
And we just don't give you kitchen, you know, empty. It comes fitted with
The hood,
a hair
the cooker,
and the oven.
oven.
The three of them are part of the package. Plus, of course, all the cabinets around, we've given them a lot of storage. Just look at this.
Exactly. Look
A
at that,
lot of
guys.
storage. All these. Yeah?
So remember, guys, the house comes unfurnished also.
Yes. So the only
yeah.
thing that will not come here is
The fridge and the microwave.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we've
have
given
a-
you storage and we have added another storage. So you have a pantry as well. Yeah. So here's the pantry. A very big pantry. Now, let's talk of the laundry area. Oh, Nelly, this you would think or you would, you know, mistake this for
Your
an SQ.
balcony or even a balcony.
You
a
know,
very
it's
big balcony.
quite spacious.
Yeah.
All this is your laundry area.
Yes.
All this. So this is where you'll put your washing machine. It's piped.
Yes.
Yeah, and then next you'll put your gas cylinder. It's also piped. So Nelly, we've considered safety.
Yes.
They will not put
The gas
cylinder inside, but outside here.
Yeah,
We considered
yeah.
safety. Where else can you find such?
Sunblock.
And then you have an extra provision of sink.
Yeah.
Something else. After washing your clothes, you can iron them from here.
Luxury.
Yeah.
Luxury.
So you finish everything
Here.
just here. Wash your clothes, iron them here, and then you'll hang your clothes up here. So up here is where you air your clothes. So you
Clothes
put your hanging lines
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
Then we'll be leaving this as it is. Very important to avoid it, you know, being stuffy. So we leave this as it is because you need enough aeration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I've loved about this project
Yes.
is how they've considered privacy.
You know?
Yes. There's a lot of how the houses are set up.
Yes.
There's a lot of privacy.
Awesome.
And I think that's at top of the list. I think most of the clients consider that.
And the
Even-
spacing?
Even the spacing.
The spacing,
Yeah.
awesome. The
Oh my God,
finishing,
amazing. I
the
love
quality. Now, we show them the bedrooms now.
Bedroom.
Let's head there.
Dancing Voila!
Now, this is our first bedroom,
Yeah.
or the visitor's room. And this is the only bedroom that shares with the common bathroom.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Amazing.
The two of them, the rest two
Are in
are in suite. So only this that shares with the common bathroom. Now, as much as it's bedroom one, just look at its spacing.
Not even the spacing.
It's
the
like,
lighting.
you know,
Let me show you something.
Yeah.
Can you close the door and then we open and show you how the lighting is?
open. Look at that. You're on ground floor, but you really can't feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why? We have spaced our blocks out there. Our blocks are not squeezed. Yeah. There's a very big spacing between blocks. So that gives you a lot of natural lighting. And that assures you as a buyer that every floor that you choose, then you have a lot of natural lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing blocks you from it, which is a plus. You save on electricity cost.
Exactly.
You really don't need, you know.
Especially when the kids are around for holiday.
Exactly.
The
You
lights are
don't
always
need
on.
it during the day. It's only the night. So
And we are
that's
on
spacing.
ground floor, guys.
On ground floor, and you can't feel it. Now, these are the wardrobes. Spacious too. Look at that, Nelly. Look at
Amazing.
that.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love the feel of this.
Look at the wood. Quality. And then the next one doesn't just come like that. Comes with some drawers.
Oh, you can put your
Yeah.
undergarments,
Yeah.
socks.
Or some documents.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, thank you. Welcome back. And we've seen a lot of our followers. Of course, they're commenting, watching from different areas. I've seen Daniel Mugambi from Isiolo, Wilson Kubania watching from Isiolo, Texas. These are my people. Watching live from Kikuyu, Morera Meat. Hey, si utuite nyama huko siku moja. Watching from Matu, Dallas. Wow, karibuni. And most importantly, we need your questions. And as we go to this sector now is, when you don't consult professionals when doing business, especially if you want to become a good entrepreneur, a good business person, it's important to get the right advice. You can only make good decisions if you have the right information. So that's why we are here today, to help you make that decision, especially investment decisions. So that's why we have our lawyer, McKenna Kingori, today with us. McKenna, in a real estate transaction, explain to me like a class 4 boy or a girl, why do I need a lawyer in a real estate transaction?
Okay. So a lawyer is essential for a real estate transaction for two reasons. One reason is the contract laws of Kenya provide that an agreement relating to property must be in writing. Why do I highlight that? Other forms of contract, if say I want to sell you my phone, we can agree orally, and that in any court of law can stand as a contract, a verbal contract. But for land and property transactions, specifically the law has required that those kind of transactions must be in writing. So if we agree here that we will sell, buy property, and we have witnesses, and I even send you the money, but there is no contract, should a dispute arise out of that transaction, and there is nothing in writing, no court of law will hear that dispute. Because it is a requirement that the transactions in land and property must be in writing. That's the first reason. Very important. The second reason is any transaction relating to property, you will find is multifaceted. What I mean by that is there are very many steps in the process from the day you decide, just deciding that you want to buy property, to the day you get your title. You will find that you have entered about 5 offices or institutions. So it is very multifaceted, which makes it even more important for you to engage professionals and specifically lawyers. I'll give you an example, which we'll come to later. When you're buying a plot of land in any part of Kenya, for example, you'll find yourself being referred to an office called the Land Control Board, which, if you're not a real estate professional, is an office that most people do not know. So how do you engage these boards, for example? How do you engage agencies such as KRA for purposes of taxes, which are paid during transactions by both buyers and sellers? How do you have your document witnessed, stamped? So these are the value additions that lawyers bring to a transaction, over and above guiding you and drafting, and also being a platform and a space where your documentation is held. Because questions around title, security, and safety, for example, have to be considered. You could give them to somebody who, if you decided to go without lawyers, they'll put the title in their house. God forbid anything happen, the title is damaged. But lawyers, because we are regulated and we operate under the Law Society of Kenya, we have certain safeguards that we are required to meet that allow us to effectively handle documentation, original documentation, and even the purchase price in certain cases where you will find that you're required to deposit funds with lawyers in the process of a transaction.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you. Also, sometimes you can, thank you for that information. At least now we understand why we need a lawyer. So now my next question would be, let's say I'm a border operator.
Okay.
Operator for stage Karen, my town. Now I need, I've hustled for my money, and I've seen a signage somewhere by a property dealer like Mindspace Properties, who are selling some land in, let's say, Kiseria. And I'm ready to purchase the land. So from there, I've talked to the agent, and I like the land, and I can afford that price they are offering. So from there, what's next? What's next for me?
Okay.
I mean, they tell me, for example, they are sending me an agreement and stuff like that. Where do I take that agreement? What should I be watching for in the agreement? Why should I come to consult you?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's a very important point that you've brought up. You've seen the ad on the agent's billboard. Say it's my space. The first step is actually sourcing. So how do you identify how you will get the property that you want to purchase? And you've mentioned agents, which I think is very important for people to know, because agents by law are licensed and also regulated, just like lawyers. So even before you decide that this is the property I will buy, is your agent a licensed agent by the agents board, estate agents board? Because that in itself is crucial. There are many people who purport to be selling as agents of the seller, as relatives, proxies, but it is always important that your agent is registered. And I'll come to why. Because your agent, in this case now, the buyer who has seen the plot being advertised, it's in Kiserian. He will tell you the plot is available, or he or she will then direct you on the next step. Oftentimes, the next step is going to the office of the seller. So if the seller is an individual, or if it is a company, there's a formal meeting point where you must go to interact with the seller, who is now coming in through the agent. And if your agent is registered and licensed, then you don't need to do extensive due diligence on the seller. So I find the agent part to be very crucial, because it can reduce a lot of stress going forward, because you could then have to do a lot of due diligence on the seller. So the buyer has seen the property, he likes it, he or she likes it.
And he has an agreement.
And he has an agreement. So we are looking at the agreement. Two types of agreements are usually incorporated at this point. We can start from a letter of offer point, or we can go straight into the agreement. That letter of offer or agreement serves the same purpose. It basically expresses interest to purchase the specific property. So it identifies the parties, who is the seller, who is the buyer, how much are we buying and selling it for, where is the property located, and sometimes a map is also attached to this document, so that we are very clear on the boundary demarcations of what exactly is being sold, because I'm sure that we are very clear. Sometimes there's a dispute about the exact location. Exactly is being so that document identifies the parties. I'm sure that the unit, the amount, and any other conditions precedent relating to that unit. The amount, conditions precedent, if I can just go deep into that, vary from case to case. Sometimes you're buying a property that is the subject of, say, a succession case in court. But there's consent for it to be sold. Or sometimes you're buying a property that is charged to a bank. So in that case, it will need to be highlighted in that letter of offer or agreement that you're buying this property, but these are certain conditions precedent to this finalization, this sale, that you must be aware. Because if otherwise this was not made clear, then the party buying can later on claim breach. So all disclosures relating to the property are captured in that agreement, as well as finally the timeline that it will take to conclude that transaction. Yes,
Wow,
yes.
wow.
Yes.
Hey, that's great information. Of course, you have to do the due diligence on who is selling the land to you. That is very important, since that's where most of the problems start.
Correct.
I mean, what's their relationship with the seller or with the landowner? So, of course, it's very important to know all this and do your own due diligence. Like another problem I have seen sometime a while back while doing a transaction is the importance of the survey report, which you mentioned. Survey reports is very important when you're buying land, especially a big, even a small piece of land. I mean, it will cost you maybe 20 or 30,000 to get a survey report, but that can save you a lot of headache. I mean, you'll buy land, for example, you're being told it's a quarter an acre, but once the surveyor hits the ground, it's 50 by 100. So you see, you'll be duped. Maybe the document will say this, but the land on the ground will say something totally different. So it's very important you check.
Absolutely.
Yeah, getting a survey report. Do you do that?
Yes.
At your place?
Yes.
You insist on that?
We do.
Okay.
We insist.
Okay.
Especially for properties that are in hotspot areas. Hotspot usually is areas that are around commercial centers, because you find a lot of times the value first can be controversial, so it needs to be at market value. But again, the demarcations need to be clear, so that later on, if you onboard tenants or buyers, there is no question as to, was this a road reserve, was this a riparian area, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Good, thank you. And please, our viewers, we are looking at your questions. Please keep them coming. We'll address them shortly. And now we have come from a border guy who has made money and wants to buy a plot. Now I'm talking somebody who has
if I can just go deep
a
into
plot.
that.
Coming, we'll address maybe 2-3 plots. And now we have to sell so that they can have the down payment money and wants to buy a plot, buy an apartment. Now I'm talking somebody who has.
Yes.
So I'd like to know what are legalities of owning apartments or houses, to that matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, the process is the same for all of these types of properties. Plots, apartments, homes. I'll put commercial spaces aside, but the process is literally the same. We start with due diligence. Due diligence is basically a search, an inspection on the property. Inspection is where you undertake a search at the lands registry to verify that the owner or the seller who is selling is the same seller that is registered at the lands registry, because that's very important.
Yes.
Then a physical inspection, which is where you go and look at the property, make sure that what you're buying is what you will be signing a contract in relation to.
Okay.
All right? Then once you've identified, say now in your case, the apartment, you have to sign the documentation, the letter of offer, do the due diligence. Once you're satisfied with the due diligence and you're ready to proceed, the next step is the signing of the documents. The signing, execution is very important because execution also has formalities. Remember, contracts being required by law to be in writing also have to meet the threshold of what is a valid contract. Remember, and the law has certain measures. One, it has to be properly executed, which means if it is an individual, you sign, and the law has and a witness if it's not witness, it's invalid. If it is an individual, if you're selling and you're an individual, this is the individual. If it's not, if it is a company, it has to be signed by a director and a witness or an authorized representative and another authorized representative. So 2 authorized representatives. Execution makes the document valid. So you could have a contract, but it has also to be duly and properly executed. So companies, 2 authorized representatives. If your agent is the one signing your document, but they're not a director, someone else also has to sign. But if it's the actual director, a witness will just witness his signature or her signature, and it will suffice.
Okay.
So the execution part, once that is done, the next step now is the payments. In that contract agreement you had signed, it outlined how you will be paid. So the execution part, What I see oftentimes is people have two forms of payments: cash or mortgage. Cash payments are usually done 100% cash, or if the parties want to spread out the payment, they can do it as per the requirements of the law, which has given guidelines that 30% is paid as a deposit, and then 70% is paid within 90 days. So the law city of Kenya has conditions for sale, and then that give 90 days for a transaction to be complete. Of course, it can be shorter or longer if it is in writing. But if it is not in writing, and back to what you said about one-page agreements, those are some of the details that are not captured. So if the agreement does not state how long this transaction will be completed, there's a presumption that it was to be completed in 90 days. Then you have now the other option where sometimes sellers allow you to pay over a period of time. So they say they are giving you a 1-year payment plan. That also needs to be captured with the last date of payment being expressly captured in that agreement, because that is when your completion will start. For cash options, those are the options you have. For your financing options, you can get financed by your bank or your SACCO, but that is usually subject to the agreement you have with them. Nowadays, I see some banks offer 105, which means they will pay your deposit, they will pay the full amount. Yes, stamp duty, all incidentals. Some of them require that you make a certain percentage, and then they are going to top up the balance, in which case then it will be a finance transaction. And on top of your agreement for sale, one more document will be added. And in some cases too, a loan agreement and the charge document. A charge is actually a mortgage. The marketing term that we use a lot is mortgage, but a mortgage is actually a charge, legally speaking. So the transaction remains the same, but we introduce two new elements of the mortgage, charge document, and a loan agreement, depending on who your bank is. Yes, so once that is done, then we can now proceed to finish.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you so much, McKenna. Even me, I'm learning. I'm glad you came here today. Very happy. Just to wind up this particular part. So next, the two issues we'll be tackling is what is a lease? When renting a place, when your landlord gives you a lease, what do you need to be on the lookout for? And why do you need a lease? Then the next one about pre-sales when it comes to apartments, the ones which have not been built yet. How do you deal with that? So keep sending your questions. I've seen a question from Ben and Otieno. Oh, Ben and Otieno, know you by now. Is it cheap to build a house or buy a house in urban setup? Good. We'll come back to you with the answer for that. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the
Hi guys, welcome to Sun Park Residence. Karibuni.
through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.
Hi guys.
Welcome to our show house. So we want to take you through our show house, our 3-bedroom show house at Sun Park Residence. Sun Park Residence is located along Mombasa Road, just a few kilometers from the airport and SGR. Quite convenient place to invest in, and whether you want to reside in, it's a win-win. Sun Park Residence is the place to be. Now, this is a 3-bedroom show house. This being the living room, and this is where we put our dining. But just to show you, to give you an idea where you can put it.
Yeah.
And then it comes with its balcony, quite spacious. So here's the balcony.
Look at
Yeah.
that, amazing.
Awesome.
Come closer, let's show them our play area. So you're going to be sitting here comfortably. Let's sit down. We need a glass of water. Imagine having a
You sit
seat
here comfortably
Yes.
as you watch your kids play.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is it about Sun Park. It's just a nice place to be and to invest in.
Yes. We have 1, 2, and 3-bedroom houses.
Awesome.
And 1 bedroom is going for 6.5.
Yes.
2 bedroom is going for 8 million.
Yes.
And 3 bedroom is going for 10 million.
And you need as low as 10% deposit to own this place. And something else we didn't mention, we
Allow mortgage.
allow mortgage. Yeah, at very, very low rates, as low as 9%
Imagine.
on a reducing balance. And the rates are not fluctuating, that is standard. Where else can you get such a deal? Let's show them our kitchen.
Have you seen the finishes of the houses? Amazing.
The spacing,
Yeah, amazing.
the quality is just something else.
Once you get
Yeah.
inside the houses, they are so cool.
Exactly. So you definitely get value for your money. That's somebody else. Yes.
The ceilings.
The high ceilings,
guys.
So let's show them our kitchen.
Yes.
So here is our kitchen. Quite spacious, as you can see.
Very special.
And we just don't give you kitchen, empty. It comes fitted with
The hood,
a hair
the cooker,
and the oven.
oven.
The 3 of them are part of the package. But of course, all the cabinets around, we've given them a lot of storage. Just look at this.
exactly. Look
A
at that,
lot of
guys.
storage. All these. Yeah.
So remember, guys, the house comes unfurnished also.
Yes. So the
So,
only
yeah.
thing that will not come here is
The fridge and the microwave.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we've
have
given
a-
you storage, and we have added another storage. So you have a pantry as well. Yeah. So here's the pantry. A very big pantry. Now, let's talk of the laundry area. Oh, Nelly, this you would think, or you would, mistake this for
Your
an SQ.
balcony or even a balcony.
It's quite spacious.
Yeah.
All this is your laundry area.
Yes.
All this. So this is where you'll put your washing machine. It's piped.
Yes.
Yeah, and then next you'll put your gas cylinder. It's also piped. So Nelly, we've considered safety.
Yes.
They will not put
The gas
cylinder inside, but outside here.
Yeah,
We considered safety. Where else can you find such?
Sun Park
And then you
Residence.
have an extra provision of sink.
Yeah.
Something else. After washing your clothes, you can iron them from here.
Luxury.
Yeah.
Luxury.
So you finish everything
Here.
just here. Wash your clothes, iron them here, and then you'll hang your clothes up here. So up here is where you air your clothes. So you put your hanging lines up here.
Yeah.
Then we'll be leaving this as it is. Very important to avoid it, being stuffy. So we leave this as it is because you need enough aeration.
Yeah. One thing that I've loved about this project
Yes.
is how they've considered privacy.
You know?
Yes. there's a lot of how the houses are set up.
Yes.
There's a lot of privacy.
Awesome.
And I think that's at top of the list. I think most of the client consider that.
And the spacing?
Even the spacing.
The spacing,
Yeah.
awesome. The
Oh my God,
finishing,
amazing. I
the
love
quality. Now, we show them the bedrooms now. Let's head there.
Dancing. Voila!
Now, this is our first bedroom,
Yeah.
or the visitor's room. And this is the only bedroom that shares with the common bathroom.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Amazing.
The two of them, the rest two
Are in
are in suite. So only this that shares with the common bathroom. Now, as much as it's bedroom one, just look at its spacing.
Not even the spacing.
It's
the
like,
lighting.
you know.
Let me show you something.
Yeah.
Can you close the door and then we open and show you how the lighting is?
Open. Look at that. You're on ground floor, but you really can't feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why? We have spaced our blocks out there. Our blocks are not squeezed. Yeah. There's a very big spacing between blocks. So that gives you a lot of natural lighting. And that assures you as a buyer that every floor that you choose, then you have a lot of natural lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing blocks you from it, which is a plus. You save on electricity cost.
Exactly.
You really don't need,
Especially when the kids are around for holidays.
exactly.
The
You
lights are
don't
always
need
on.
it during the day. It's only the night. So
And we are
that's
on
spacing.
ground floor, guys.
On ground floor, and you can't feel it. Now, these are the wardrobes. Spacious too. Look at that, Nelly. Look at
Amazing.
that.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love the feel of this.
Look at the wood. Quality. And then the next one doesn't just come like that. Comes with some drawers.
Oh, you can put your
Yeah.
undergarments,
Yeah.
socks.
Or some documents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then up there, look at this spacing. You can put your suitcases and stuff.
Yeah.
Big spacing.
That was actually a very good idea.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, let's have a look at the common bathroom.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Mindspace. And today we have our lawyer, McKenna Kingori, who is here to educate us and make sure we are not duped, we are not conned, and we stay above board as far as law is concerned in real estate. So when somebody rents a house or somebody rents, let's say, a shop, like you rent one at my town, Karen, you are given a lease, you are given a contract, you are given a offer letter, there's something they call HOT, end of terms. Many people like to understand what is a lease, what is a contract. Even the people who have rented, what do they need to know about the legality of the documents the landlord gives them? Do they need a lawyer?
Yes.
To interpret for them? Do they?
Of course they do.
Okay. Tell us more.
We all need lawyers when we are doing property transactions. But anything that is being rented is basically getting you rights to a property, but not making you the owner. So in the first part, we discussed ownership, which gives you rights to a property and you become a registered owner. But when you're renting, it means you have exclusive rights, just like an owner. Sometimes it can be limited in certain cases, but it is giving you exclusive rights to a space for a short period of time, which is often defined in that contract, which is oftentimes referred to as a lease, but it is, for all intents and purposes, a tenancy agreement. It captures the terms. In my space, my town, for example, that would be a commercial lease. A commercial lease, a residential lease, which people call tenancies, a lease of agricultural land. If, say, you want to farm, but you're farming with cycles and it's a year long, all those are leases / tenancies, giving you exclusive rights, but for a short period of time, thereby not making you the owner, right? So the commercial lease relates to properties, offices, shops, and hotels. That is what the law defines as commercial spaces. Residential goes without saying, that is anywhere that is being used for residential purposes or some sort of residential purpose that can be, if authorized, commercialized. I'm speaking specifically about Airbnbs. And again, you have now the agricultural spaces where people lease / rent for a short period of time to achieve a certain purpose. The lawyer and the contract is the same. It captures the same elements. Who is leasing / renting to who, for how long, at how much. Certain terms can be added depending. And I'm sure you can confirm to us that some spaces are rented for a short period of time. And the rent, you have something called a rent escalation. So I tell you, it will be this much for this period, the first year or the first two, and thereafter, there'll be an escalation at a certain percentage. This is common in commercial leases, especially in urban areas. But all, bottom line is tenancies, leases, all refer to the same thing, which is a contract that is assigning exclusive rights over a property for a short period of time. Short period of time, allow me to just define, is if you're talking about land, it has to be less than 25 years. If it goes above 25 years, the law requires that it be registered, and now it's like you have sold it. So if you're an owner trying to lease your land in Kinango, Kajiado, make sure if your intention is not to sell it to the person that you're leasing it to, you're looking at 25 years and below. Anything above that makes it a transfer for purposes of the law. Commercial spaces like my town, Karen, shops, hotels, and offices, 5 years, 3 months is the period of term for a commercial lease. Commercial leases have specific provisions. There are certain safeguards. They are not treated like a normal one-year tenancy. So commercial leases, by interpretation of the law, is any lease / tenancy relating to an office, shop, or hotel that is for a period of 5 years, 3 months, and above. and it will be regulated. Disputes arising out of that have a very different dispute mechanism, and more importantly, they are registered. So like the way we register our title deeds when we are buying, for commercial leases, they have to go to the registry for registration. When you're renting a house, you've never been, if you're doing a normal tenancy, you've never been sent to the lands office to register that tenancy, right? But for a shop, a commercial space, which meets that definition that I've just highlighted, it will have to go through the process of stamp duty and registration at the lands registry. So it's a bit of a more formal process, and it is regulated differently from other tenancies. Residential tenancies are what most of us are familiar with, which is where you're renting an apartment, a flat, a townhouse, anything residential for a period of, as shall be agreed. Usually I see it's 1 year renewable, depending on the area and the landlord. Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you for that information. And please send your questions. We have seen them and we'll address them shortly. Just before we go to answer your questions, maybe I would ask about somebody who wants to buy off-plan or off-plan apartments or houses. How, in a very brief way, what should you be watch out? What should you watch out for?
Okay. So the key distinguishing factor of off-plan sales and other sales, build sales as we call them, is that the completion is deferred to a later date. So the documentation changes only to that extent, that now we have completions that are set either by a date or by a certain provision, which is usually the architect's issuing a certificate, and the payment plan also changes. Remember when I mentioned the bank, if you go to a bank and you tell them you want to buy but it's off plan, unless it's under the current affordable housing scheme, most banks will require that the construction has extended to a certain, it has progressed to a certain percentage. They will not finance an off-plan which is just groundbreaking, for example. So it also affects the financing for mortgage buyers, but most importantly, it shifts the completion provisions from what we normally have in the normal agreement to that. And now everything else that is tied to that completion, be it financing, be it possession, be it the ability to transfer further, all that now ties to the completion. But generally speaking, that is the main distinction, at least legally and contractually, between the off-plan sales and the built sales for apartments.
So it means you don't get a lease or a title immediately?
No, you do not.
Till you get like occupation certificate and the house is ready for you to move in.
Yes. So just to clarify, once the architect issues their certificate, typically that is when completion is deemed to happen by law, and that is when the seller, the vendor / developer can now proceed to register. So your title, which is a very good question, will come at that point. Unlike in these other transactions for the plot, say, where I will come as the seller with my title, you will come as the buyer with your money, we meet in the lawyer's office, we agree that the lawyer will keep the title in their safe until the day registration is done. So we know the presence of the title is identified, but this one will be generated later upon completion.
Okay, good. Thank you, McKenna. So let's go answer a few questions. And one of the questions is from Wilson Kumbanie, and I believe this yours. How will you ensure the land belongs to owner? Because we have seen most of the houses after a long time government. Okay, when somebody buys a house, after some times, government comes to claim this is public land. I mean, how do you deal with that? For example, now I bought my plot in Kiserian. Then later on, I'm told this was supposed to be an airport or a road. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so if you have property and government comes knocking at your door saying that this is public land, and it was always zoned as public land, then you're actually in breach. So you go to the person who sold you the land. Because in the contract, one of the things that we require that sellers give as a warranty is that they are the duly at the registered owner and they have the right to sell this property. So if it was for all intents and purposes gazetted and zoned as public land and someone sold it to you, that was a fraudulent transaction. The contract was therefore null and void, and you have a right to claim or sue the owner who sold it to you for selling you property that they shouldn't have been selling in the first place. If, however, it was private land and government has, say, discovered oil deposits, or for one reason or another they feel a road should pass there, and you're the rightful owner because it was zoned as private land, there are mechanisms and provisions under the National Land Commission Act on how government can reclaim land for public purposes, and that usually involves compensation. And in that compensation, they factor in the value of the land, the psychological and emotional attachment to the land, and even expected income. In case it was a commercial space, then there's compensation procedures through government. Only if it was private land, but now government wants to take it.
There's something they call eminent domain, which I think it means everything belongs to the government by the end of the day.
Correct.
We own the leases. Maybe you can explain to that what that eminent domain mean?
Yes, so you've actually defined it very aptly. It is the government principle that government owns all the land. And that is why even today when you look at any form of title, the name up there is usually National Government of Kenya giving it to you. It even bears the logo of the government because all land vests in the government. So public acquisition of land by the government stems from that principle, that all land is owned by the government. That is why if today they discovered gold deposits where we are seated, they have all the right to come and claim this land for purposes of exploration of those deposits. But now your ownership is what helps you claim compensation if it was in private land.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. We have a question from Ole Chege. Can a foreigner legally purchase a property in Kenya? And what are the restrictions and the processes involved in such a transaction? When a foreigner, somebody comes from South Africa, they have seen a beautiful Maasai girl, and they want to buy a property here. How does it work?
Okay. So the Constitution of Kenya allows for the right to own property for citizens and non-citizens. The restriction I think he's referring to is before the 2010 Constitution, foreigners could own land for 999 years, those absolute titles. But now under the new Constitution, a foreigner can only own land for 99 years going down. So that's the only distinction. But yes, foreigners can own land in Kenya. The process is pretty much the same. The only requirement is usually that a foreigner has the identification document, which would be the passport, and also a KRA PIN. Because towards the end of the transaction, you find that they are required to remit stamp duty, and that can only happen if you have an active KRA PIN. Yes.
Oh, that's good. So the South African can settle very well.
They can very easily. And we invite them to settle.
All right, thank you. So there's another question from Kar Rihal. Is there any way of confirming that the mother title is being charged to any institution? Like there's a case where the developer borrows money to develop, then they don't pay the bank, so there's no discharge from the developer side, but they have sold the apartment to the end users. Is there a way to confirm?
Yes. So the due diligence aspect involves doing a search, which is again why the professionals, in this case the lawyers, are very important. Because before you undertake any transaction, you have to do a search. Once you lodge for a search at the lands registry, it will always give you details of one, who the owner is, the size of the land, and any encumbrance, which is what now a loan, for example, would be registered as an encumbrance. Cautions and caveats are also recorded. when you do a search. So if you search any property at the lands registry, you will be able to get that information. If a buyer wants to go a step further and find out who the previous owners were, or the process that this land had gone through in terms of sale and purchase, they can do something called a green card search, which is where you ask for a more comprehensive search that gives you the historical background of a property. That can tell you if perhaps you're apprehensive that this property was subject to maybe some historical land controversy, and you're afraid that it might be reclaimed by government, you can always do a deeper search, which is a green card search, that will reveal to you the historical background of a property. But a simple search at the lands office should be able to tell you if a bank has charged it and who the bank is, and it will even reveal the facility amount.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. So maybe now if it's charged, of course, many people who develop properties, they borrow money from the bank. I mean, that's a no-brainer. It requires billions and billions to do big projects. And I'm sure very few people are seated sleeping with, under their mattress with 1 billion. So there's something called discharge process. For example, they have charged to a bank and then you want to buy one apartment. Maybe you can explain to us what's a discharge?
So a discharge of charge is a document that is signed from the bank and the developer in that kind of a situation, discharging the particular unit from any encumbrance and claim. So just like he preempted in his question, if a developer takes a loan and it is charged to a bank, if you're not discharged, if you come and you pay 100% for your unit, if you're not duly discharged by the bank, then the bank can still come and claim your unit. The discharge of charge is basically an undertaking and a confirmation by the seller that this particular unit has been fully paid for, and in case of any claim, it is untouchable, to put it simply.
Okay.
It has been paid for, and it cannot be claimed in the event of distress or.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, even me, I'm learning today. I thought I was an expert.
You know you are.
You're a good teacher.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as we come back, we'll pin down in the comments the number you can call, and we'll be able to take a few phone calls if you like to talk to us. And of course, as we come to conclusion, McKenna will share her details on where you can get in touch with her, how she can be of legal service to you. So we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome back. And we have put a number below there, 0717 077 645. You can call us. We can answer your questions. I know there's some people who don't like typing on comments and stuff like that. But if you can call, we are very accommodative and we'd like to accommodate you. And as I was talking earlier to our senior counsel here, there's some issues she left out and would like to explain on the legal matters.
Okay. So on the discharge, it's very important to mention that sometimes people are apprehensive about buying property that is charged. But like you rightfully said, it is almost impossible to undertake an investment of a certain magnitude without financing. So the only thing is that any buyer who is buying a property that is charged should ask that the seller puts a clause in that agreement for sale that upon full payment of the purchase price, they shall be discharged from the property. This is the instrument that you use to claim for discharge. So that if the developer then refuses, you're asking for that and they refuse, then I would advise anyone to back out of such a transaction, because any developer should be able to discharge you upon full payment. If then you find there's a back and forth about discharge, it might not be a good idea to look at that, maybe find out why, but legally you should be able to stand firm on any clause in the agreement saying that you'll be discharged. So it is very safe to invest in properties that have charges on them.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. And of course, going forward, I know there are so many other complicated stuff. Like, for example, somebody has bought a house or got a land somewhere. How do you protect them in the future for your family? Through putting a trust. In our next time, we discuss about how do you form a trust, what is a trust. Then things about owning apartment, let's say 99 years, there's something called reversionary interest.
Yes.
So we need to cover that. Why are you laughing? Or did I pronounce them
I think
wrongly?
you have a degree in law, but you've not told us.
Like, you know, actually, those are some of the things we'll touch on next time. Or maybe very briefly, you can tuonjeshe kidogo.
Okay. Just as a teaser, yeah, very right. Trusts are entities that people are now using to safeguard their assets. When you have an estate and you want to make sure that your beneficiaries are able to benefit from it long after you've gone, trusts are as an entity that you can incorporate. They function not like companies, but they take the form of that, where you appoint a board of trustees to manage the estate. And depending on how you agree in your deed, the proceeds of your estate can be used to take care of your beneficiaries. Beneficiaries are children, biological children, adopted children, and any other person that you deem fit to be a beneficiary, whoever a person chooses. So that is for trusts. They are very safe. They are also tax efficient. The reason people prefer trusts over companies is because the tax obligations and the requirements in companies sometimes are more complex as opposed to a trust body. A trust body functions usually most of it, 99% of the time for purposes of estate administration. So the way the law has structured them, they are very tax efficient. So very highly recommended for anyone who wants to protect his estate or her estate. Your second question reversionary interest. So in any title document that you have, you see 99 years. That 99 years is the term of your lease between you and the government. So yes, you're the owner, but like we said, government is the ultimate owner. So upon the expiry of 99 years, the land reverts back to the government. And anyone who owns land is required to apply for a renewal, which is issued at the discretion of government. So it is not 100% guaranteed that government is going to extend your lease, but you're better off applying for an extension, because if you do not apply for extension of the lease, then it automatically reverts back to government and you're not the registered owner of that property. And oftentimes government renews the lease. It is very unlikely that they will refuse.
It's automatic.
It is not automatic, but it is probable. Yes.
Okay.
They will rarely refuse to extend a lease.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. And now, the people with us would like to know if they want to get in touch with you, how do they do that? Where are your offices? When they need legal services, how do they come to you?
Okay, so we are physically located at the Two Rivers Mall. There is Saturn Tower, which is on the rooftop of the Two Rivers Mall. We are on the first floor. The name of the office is MK Legal, McKenna Kingori and Company Advocates. We are also available on all social media platforms, and we are very responsive by the same handle, MK Legal. I am also present on social media under the handle McKenna Kingori on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and even Instagram. We are very responsive on all those platforms. And our website, for those who would like to have a look at the range of services we offer, is www.mklegal, M is M for McKenna, K for Kingori, legal.co.ke. And our numbers are on the website. They are also available on all the platforms. But for purposes of this speech, it is 0723 233 994. 0723 233 994. That's the direct line to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we also pin on the same on our live, we'll pin a contact how you can get in touch with McKenna and she can help you matters legal. So as we wind up, as we end this today, I would like to invite you to visit our Sun Park residence in Syokimau, one of the projects we're involved in. I would like you to visit my town, Karen, opposite Karen Hospital on Langata Road. And if you need a shop, if you need some space, come to us. Then we'll give you a space and you'll do your business in a big way. And as I conclude, thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for being part of this. This is a second one. We rate us. How are we doing? What improvement would you like to see? Comment below, please. Let us know what we can improve, what you like to learn. Like next week, we are bringing to you built environment experts. And of course, when you're doing a building, the first person you start with is the architect. Since now you have bought the land, you have gone to the lawyer, what's the next process? What next? Now you have to go see an architect to make drawings for you, to cholea you that your dream house you've been dreaming about, so that you can now start living the life you always wished for. So thank you so much. Tomorrow, next week, same time, we'll have an architect with us. I'll call some of my friend architect and they'll talk to you about, what do you need to know about building? How can you build? How can you get started in this journey of property development, the property of developing your own home? This is where we start. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us all that time. Sorry, we took 22 minutes above. Wow, but that was very interesting. Thank you. And we invite you one more time to touch on issues and questions our followers have, or the people who are engaging here online. Thank you so much. See you next week, same time. God bless you.
Thank you for having me. Investment journey, please feel free to reach out to us and Mindspace for all your real estate needs.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.